Okay, so for my presentation, I chose Chris Van Allsburg because he is the writer of some of my favorite children's books and movies. So to get started, Van Allsburg was born in 1949 in Michigan, and he was an avid sculptor and at the time just the occasional illustrator. After receiving his master's from design school in Rhode Island, he started to sell his sculptures to an art gallery located in New York. And again, only at the time he was just drawing illustrations on the side, but eventually his wife would take those drawings and show them to children's publishing houses where the editors and publishers ended up loving his work. So Van Allsburg then decided to take his chances on writing and illustrating children's books where he obviously found huge success. So, starting with his very first children's book that was published in 1979 called The Garden of Abdul Ghazazi. The story is about a boy whose name is Alan who ends up following a dog named Fritz that he's watching into a forbidden garden of a magician, Abdul Ghazazi, who ends up turning Fritz into a duck. And the story is just revolving around Alan's adventure of trying to turn Fritz back into a dog and figuring out if the magician's magic is real or not. The story ended up receiving a Caldecott honor for Van Allsburg's imaginative storytelling and his surreal and dreamlike illustrations. For me, the black and white contrast kind of blurs reality and fantasy. Using black and white only, in my opinion, takes away a major sense, which kind of forces the readers to really use their imagination to fill in a lot of the blanks. Um, in this story, the black and white helps readers kind of question reality and imagination and kind of imagine if what Alan is experiencing is real, which ends up to be a big twist at the end of the book. Next, the second book, and one of my favorites, is Jumanji. This is his second book published in 1981, and the story is about two siblings, Judy and Peter, who find a board game at a park, and when they start to play the game, they find out that their choices and moves within the game come to life in dangerous ways. Jumanji also won a Caldecott Award, not an honor, but an award, and it also won a National Book Award. And he was awarded these awards for his exceptional use of pencil in his illustrations. And then comparing these illustrations to his first book, I can see why this one was given an award versus an honor. To me, his pictures seem so much more smooth and it gives off kind of a velvety, fantastical look. Again, this one's also in black and white using graphite. I think using graphite helps his look become his signature, and his style really makes readers use a lot of imagination, which helps to add to the adventure within the story. Again, like his first book, I think it really makes readers use their minds a little bit more. And I think it's also a good tactic for kids' books as well. Again, allowing them to really improve their imagination. And then his a third book, which is one of Van Allsburg's most popular books, and another personal favorite for me, is The Polar Express, which was published in 1985. For this story, he uses colored pencils and oil pastels. It's not his first book to be used in color, but I think it's one of his most popular books because he uses color. Again, he used colored pencils and oil pastels to give a magical and a kid like experience that to me really embodies the mystery and feeling of Christmas. Van Allsburg also said he used his sculpting skills to put more lifelike qualities into his characters' movements. And like all of his books, but I think it's used really well here. The Polar Express uses unique and honestly quite steep perspective points, which for me has always heightened my curiosity. For example, when the main character Chris in the movie or Hero Boy in the book was in Santa's sleigh flying across the night sky, he is shown looking down over all of the kids in the square next to the giant Christmas tree. I could really imagine myself in his shoes, also looking down, using all of the perspectives from above and below is really immersive. And in his latest book that was published in 2014 called The Misadventures of Sweetie Pie, he uses pastels and light colored pencils to show where his inspiration came from, which is his daughter's pet hamsters. I think by using the bright colors, the pastels, the pinks, the greens, the purples, um, the illustrations and colors would definitely intrigue young girls. I think he really gave his demographic a lot of thought with the bright and pinkish tones. And a great part of Van Allsburg's illustrations is how big they are. They take up quite a bit of the pages, both left and right pages. Um, he always has a full page of an illustration, and then on the other page, a half illustration paired with text. And again, in this book, um, he again uses unique perspective to really get readers into the mindset of a hamster. It's definitely a really fun book. Definitely different from the other books that he has written and illustrated, but it still has his signature soft handedness that is shown in all of his other stories as well. And that is the rest of my presentation. Thank you so much.